guys, good morning. What's up? What's going on? And welcome back to the channel. Well, as I said on Monday, I believe, we are headed over to Nye to drop the head off for the second gen. While we're there, they're going to let us walk through the facility, kind of show us what they do from start to finish. It's a few day process on getting the head done, so I won't be able to bring it home with me today, unfortunately, so I'll have to make another trip back over there. But I wanted to take today, show you guys exactly what goes into rebuilding a head, and show the steps that they're going to do to make my head basically a new one again. I've already got the Hamilton 103 springs in it. They're going to go ahead and check out the valves, valve guides, seats, deck it. We're going to get it fire ringed. Got my Hamilton gasket with me so they can make sure and get the proper grooves to the proper depth. So after I stopped and grabbed my most important meal of the day, which is my cup of coffee, been on the road for probably about 45 minutes or so, so we should be there within the next hour. So I will catch up with you guys as we make our way over there. Hey guys, what's up? What's going on? And welcome back to the channel and the real video at hand. As you can see, we are not at Nye, we are actually at home. They had a guy off. He hurt his back, the one that was going to work with me, so it wasn't going to work out to do the video beforehand. So when I go pick the head up, the one day this week or next week, whenever they get it done, it's about a week and a half to 2 week turnaround time because of people in front of me and me just walking in and dropping it off. We'll do the video then, and then they can walk us through what they actually had to do to my head to make things were good and ready to go back on the truck. Tonight I have a couple of things I want to get done. I want to get the wear sleeve put on the crank, and also while I'm this far, I think we talked about it once before, I'm going to go ahead and pull the VP and then also pull the tappet cover off and go ahead and replace that gasket. These are prone to dry rot failure, so we're going to go ahead and, like I said, we're going to pull the VP off and get it out of the way, and we're going to pull the tappet cover off, and I actually want to get it painted the same red color. I know it's going to be tucked down in there pretty far and you won't be able to see it very well, but I want it the red color. So instead of going with a billet one, I think that'll look pretty good in red. I do not have a gear puller for my VP gear. What I actually am planning on using will be a steering wheel puller. This will work the same way, and your nuts are as far as using the bolts to pull it. These are just a standard M8 by 125, so if you have the corresponding length, which we have a battery tray full of nuts and bolts over here, so I'm sure there's something over here that will fit. So right now, let's go ahead and grab the wear sleeve and get it put on the crank. We'll grab some 600 grit paper because I don't have any emery cloth. We'll grab some 600 grit, we'll get that cleaned up good, put a coating of oil in it, and press that on. I did get a tool from Caleb, like I showed you guys last week during the mail time session. But I was also sent a video from a friend of mine on how to put these on too, and actually it was from Power Driven Diesel. Todd had a video showing how they put their wear sleeves on the cranks, so I will also show you guys that if you don't want to spend $100 on a tool. I was gracious enough, thank you very much Caleb for sending it my way, that we have the ability to use that. So let's go ahead and get the wear sleeve on and then try and get the VP off. Alright, if you remember right, the reason we're doing this is because we got a pretty nasty groove in the front of the crank there. When I tore everything down, whoever installed the last seal rolled the lip, and after several thousand miles, this is what happens. So we need to take care of that with this wear sleeve right here. So we're going to slide this on there, and then we're going to have to coat this with just a little bit of oil, and then use this wear sleeve tool to push it on. Now, a friend of mine had sent me a video, and I watched it, and Todd from Power Driven Diesel was doing it a different way, which I thought was pretty innovative. He actually used the harmonic balancer. Works the same way as the wear sleeve tool. you just use your harmonic balancer and push it on that way. So if you guys don't want to spend the $100 or have a good viewer like Caleb and press it on there, you can always take your harmonic balancer and push it on that way. So I'm not going to do it that way because we do have a tool, but this is an alternative that you can use to be able to put the wear sleeve on if you need be. First off, these are tapered, so the taper will go in. You want to get it nice and straight, but before I do that, you want to coat that with some oil. That way we are ready to go in. And then I do have some assembly lube over here that I'm going to use and put on the washers, and then the heads of the bolts, and then the back side of the tool. Then grab a ratchet and just work a little bit each way, or a little bit each side, until the sleeve is all the way on. Alright, I went ahead and coated the inside of the ring, and I have some oil on my crankshaft. Go ahead and get that on there square. Gonna put some assembly lube. The only reason I'm doing that is just to help them slide. And just go back and forth, walking each side on. Go at a nice even pace on each side. Alright, after the bolts are bottomed out, clear against the crank, I just want to give them just a little bit of crank, make sure everything's good there. And then we can take the install tool back off. One thing I will say that's nice about the tool, it is recessed just a little bit, that way it pushes it on the proper distance instead of just having it flush against this edge. With this tool, there is a predetermined distance. It is supposed to be pushed on, and with the tool you do get it pushed on all the way. Alright, next thing I want to do is get the VP off tonight and get the tappet cover off. I went ahead and put on my fleece barring tool after I pushed on the wear sleeve, just because I want to be able to bar the engine over. Got to clean this deck surface off, and I want to be able to take the pistons and push them down below the surface. That way I'm not marring over top of those with an emery cloth, cleaning this surface up, getting ready for the new head. To get your VP off, you got a 15 millimeter, a 19 millimeter. I'll need that to take off the return line. I already have the feed off, and then the pump nut itself is a 27 millimeter. So I do have it set at top dead center, as you can see from the mark there, and I have the O's all lined up. So we're going to go ahead and pull the nut off first, pull the gear off, and then go ahead and loosen up the 4 bolts on the back of the VP and pull it out of the way. All right, one thing that I did forget to mention right here is the pump brace. You do need to take those 2 bolts out too to be able to get the pump out of there. I forgot to mention that in the beginning. Now we'll go ahead and take the ECM off and then pull the bolts off for the tappet cover. Alrighty, with all that off, I think I'm finally taking things apart and we can slowly start the reassembly process. I gotta wait on the head. I'm gonna go ahead and go grab a tappet cover gasket and get that taken care of. This is what I was talking about, how these get hard and brittle just from the heat and cool. You can see this one right here is pretty cracked and pretty bad all the way through there. You can see all the stress cracks and stuff in the rubber right there. This is actually supposed to be rubber and it is hard as a rock. If you don't remember the orientation, they are stamped front, and then your gasket will have front on it also, so when you put it back together you will know. Laying on the shelf in there was not the keeper, so it's either down in the oil pan or it never fell in the engine to begin with. So when I did the springs, it was dark out. When I did number 6, I dropped a spring retainer a long time ago, probably 15,000 miles ago, and we have never found it. So it's in the oil pan or it's, I have no idea. Anyway, this is what I was talking about. I think I dropped it down inside of one of these push rod holes. They go down through there and they sit on top of your tappets right there, but then you have an oil return galley right there. So it was very easily could fall down inside here, hit the cam, and then drop all the way down into the oil pan, where it will lay safe and sound until somebody would ever pull the pan off. So I'm not going to do that. I think I am as far as I want to go. The only other thing that we would possibly do would be pull the vacuum pump up, the vacuum pump slash power steering pump off, and do a seal kit on it. But I don't really see any leaks on it, so it's probably not necessary to do that. So I think we're pretty good there. I still need to do a lot of stuff. I'm not even gonna say it. So this week hopefully we'll be headed back over to Muncie, Indiana to pick up the head. Just waiting on them to call. In the meantime, I'm going to get the tappet cover cleaned up and get it painted. I do have the intake plenum cover painted. Just got to pick up some miscellaneous gaskets and start throwing some parts back at it. Maybe throw some paint on it and call it a day. So guys, I do appreciate you watching very much. Caleb, thank you very much for the crank steel, the wear sleeve tool to be able to put that on my truck. I will get that shipped back to you ASAP. I think that's pretty much all I have. So if you guys don't mind, hit that like button, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not already done so, and we'll talk to you guys later on.